So if you're not a member of my private Facebook group, yogahackscommunity.com, yoga, community.com. Hey, Leo. What was asked in the private Facebook group is someone asked a really great question. She said, my hips don't touch the ground. So she said, in child's pose, either my hips touch the ground or my head touches the ground. But I can't get both to touch the ground, and what should I do? So I thought this was a really great question because, you know, child's pose is supposed to be like the easy, fun pose. But for some people, a lot of people actually, it's still pretty hard. And I wanted to show you ways you can modify it. And I also want to show some ways that you can make it even more delicious if you're already doing it. This requires blocks. And guys, if you don't have blocks, you can get them on my website, brettlarkin.com. That also supports my channel, so I really appreciate it. So what you can do is you can place a block the long way between your heels. So see how I'm placing a block the long way between my heels like this? So you can do this in your child's pose, and that will make it easier for your head to touch the ground. And then the other thing you can do is take a block and put it underneath your head. So right now I have a block underneath my feet and a block underneath my head. And if you're a beginner, you just have really tight hips, this is a great place to be. And if you're a beginner, you want to go to brettlarkin.com/newbie, NEWBIE, because I have a lot of special stuff and giveaways for people who are new to yoga to also get you ready for the Spring Detox Challenge. And as you get better, you get more flexibility. You can be like, maybe I'll take the block out from between my heels and see how that feels. How does it feel to just do it with it under my forehead? How does it feel to do it just with the block underneath my hips? So you want to really become your own best teacher, and this is why having a home practice is so important, is that you can start to vary between these two things and see what works best for you, because it's no one-size-fits-all solution with this stuff, guys. You need to find what works best for you. Okay, so here's some bonus child pose tips. You can take a blanket and put a blanket down on the mat, and this is just going to pad your knees. So if you're doing child's pose for a long amount of time, has anyone done child's pose and their knees kind of start to hurt after you hold it for a long amount of time? Heart it up if you've, let me know in the chat if that's ever happened to you, because that's definitely happened to me. So I'm a total baby, and I like to pad everything when I can. So I do child's pose with my knees on a blanket, and that helps me be able to stay there longer and receive the stretch more, because I can hold it for longer because I'm comfortable. So I'm all about making it comfortable. And remember, blocks go on multiple height, you guys, right? You don't have to use the block at the lowest height. You could have the block on the highest height right here. This is all about modifying and personalizing your practice to fit you and your body. And then the last little tip I have for you guys is if you have sandbags at home, what you can do is you can put a sandbag on your low back when you're in child's pose. Thank you, you guys, for joining and sharing. You can put a sandbag on your low back in child's pose, and what this is going to do, it's going to traction your low back open and down. Give me some hearts if you think this looks and feels good. Trust me, it does. So if you have a sandbag at home, this just helps gravity. It's sort of like, have you ever had a teacher in class come and press on your low back in child's pose? Yeah, it's such a good idea, so you can go. It totally is. So you can kind of make that up yourself with the sandbag, okay? So this is my pimped out child's pose. I have the blanket for my knees. I have a block underneath my head. I'm changing the block at different heights to make it work for me. I have a block the long way between my heels. And all of these things, especially if you're new to yoga and you don't have that much range of motion in the hips, is going to let you stay in child's pose for a much longer amount of time. So guys, if you're interested in yoga props and kind of like how you can hack your life through yoga props, if you go to brettlarkin.com/hacks, I have a free mini course on that I'm actually in the process of improving, but you guys will get the updated version. And I also sell blocks, sandbags as a whole kit, along with the myofascial release spiky little ball. There's a lot of like special yoga props that I have put together in a kit, and you can get those at alwaysbestretching.com. alwaysbestretching.com if you're interested in all my favorite yoga props, because I put them together in a kit for you guys, and I send you 6 yin stretching routine videos and a bunch of other really cool stuff. And if you just want the free version, like not for me to ship you yoga props, just brettlarkin.com/hacks, HACKS. My private Facebook group is yogahackscommunity.com. If you're not in there, thanks for all the hearts, you guys. So how do you know if you're a beginner and advanced yogi? Well, Oh, this is one of my favorite topics. I could talk about this forever, and I have to keep an eye on time because my favorite place to eat healthy lunch closes soon. Hey, girl. So my definition of an advanced practice is a practice in which you are highly personalizing your practice, focusing on the breath primarily above all else, and modifying as needed. So to me, an advanced practice isn't like you can do handstands, you can do crow. That's like the rest of the world's definition of an advanced practice, right? It's like if you can do handstand, if you can do all these complicated hard poses, they call that advanced. What I consider advanced is that you're deeply connected to your body and that you're modifying and you've developed a practice that works for you. So if you're someone who has arthritis, but you're highly personalizing your practice for that, and you really know the ins and outs of like what poses work for you, what poses don't work for you, I would consider you an advanced practitioner because you are really taking care of your body. You're taking responsibility and taking care of your body by, really going inward, focusing on what poses work for you and what don't. Do you guys like that definition of an advanced practice? Give me some hearts or let me know in the chat if you like that definition of an advanced practice. You say you love it. Thank you. Yeah, because I think especially right now with yoga, there's this outward focus. In my beginner classes, what I do is I just move slower. Like I link less poses together in a row, and I just teach a little slower so people can follow along. To me, an more intermediate practitioner can kind of flow through the poses quicker, right? So they can go from like low lunge to Ardha Hanumanasana to high lunge, right? Like they can just flow through a little faster, and maybe they don't need to look at the screen to even like reference me. They just like know what the poses are from recall. So if you know what the poses are from recall, like you don't need to look at the YouTube screen or wherever you're watching the video to know what pose I'm saying, then I think you're a little bit more intermediate. If you have an easy time flowing together, linking together poses, I think you're more intermediate. If you don't know what a lot of poses even are, I consider you more beginner. So Mel Santana, does that help answer your question? Let me know yes or no in the chat. You say yes. Okay, cool. Thank you, you guys. I hope you all have an amazing, what is it? Tuesday, right? Tuesday. Bye.